Good morning. This is Erika Poindexter with the Poindexter Real Estate Group. And today I'm super excited because obviously Texas is a huge hotspot for Californians that are moving out of state. And Dallas-Fort Worth has been something that people are like, hey, when are you going to do this? Since I've been doing this for, we're going on 5 months now in a row. And so today, my friend KC, I've sent him a couple of referrals. We've done some, little bit of business, been friends on Facebook for a little while, and I'm super excited to talk to him today about Dallas and what it's like to live in Dallas. So, hi. And tell me a little bit about you or tell them a little bit about you and how you got started in real estate and what you love about working in Dallas.
Yeah, so I've kind of moved all over, originally from Washington State. Military took me to California, and then graduate school, I initially was a high school teacher and coach, took me to Texas, wound up eventually in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then that's really where real estate began for me. Wound up getting my license, kind of did it on the side part-time, and then jumped ship really after just a year of living in Dallas. And fast forward to now, I've been licensed for about 4 years. Last year, I sold about 70 homes. I'd say 15 to 20 of them were folks relocating to the Texas area. And, it's been great. I mean, business obviously has been really, really good. We've got a ton of people moving here. Right now, our market is like a market we've never seen before, but I think a lot of different markets throughout the country are dealing with that as well, not just Dallas or Fort Worth.
Yeah, and as much as I refer out, I still have more buyers than there is inventory. So We're in this really cool pocket of Sacramento. I work and live in the foothills, so a lot of rural property, a lot of space. And so people from the more populated areas in California, this is kind of where they want to be. Okay. And so we get a lot of everyone's coming in, and then everyone who's been here who wants more space is getting out. And do you see a lot with COVID? A lot more people working from home. They want the space to work from home. And we don't necessarily have that in their budget here.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, right now I have a family out of LA and another family out of Southern California, and then another family from New York, either recently closed or under contract. One thing that's for certain is your money can definitely go much further. Now, depending on when people are watching this video, it may not be the case anymore. Our market is insane right now. I mean, our buyers or people that are trying to buy in this market are oftentimes waiving appraisals or paying, 10%, 15% above list price. So our, affordability when I got licensed 3-4 years ago, is still very much affordable when you compare it to, Dallas-Fort Worth being one of the largest metroplexes in the entire country. So comparatively to other large metroplexes, it's still quite affordable. But, you look back just 5 years from today and, prices have gone up substantially. And that's just with, growth in our market and the desire. We're a very diverse metroplex. We're not only, tech individuals are relocating here because our tech industry is the leading employer. We've got truly, so many different corporate businesses here that are making our metroplex pretty diverse.
That's awesome. Well, let's look at some properties. We'll kind of show them around what they can buy. I use $500,000 because that's our median home price in Placer County where I work. And so it's a good start point to see what is available for the same money. So if they wanted to do a swap, this is how it would go. Okay. So we will start. This one is a brand new construction, 415, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,600 square feet. Trying to make the pictures a little bit bigger. And this is sorry, I made it big. Where was this again?
This is in Weatherford. So to give you a little bit of geography here. Weatherford is going to be about 15 minutes west of Fort Worth. So as a large metroplex, you've got Dallas, which is going to be east of Fort Worth, and then Fort Worth, which is obviously west of Dallas. This is going to be even further west of Fort Worth. Now, the thing and the draw to Weatherford, a lot of people are relocating here. It was very much, country. It was a very small town. A majority of the homes had significant amount of acreage. I actually, to give you an idea, I have a listing in Weatherford that's like an 1838 build. It was the original post office of the city of Weatherford. It's got a lot of culture and a lot of history in the city, but there's a lot of people that want to be outside the city, but still within driving distance to the city, have a little bit more acreage, have a little bit more land. So for instance, this is a new build community. This individual house is on a half acre. If you try to find a half acre in the city, it's just not going to happen. And a half acre lot at this price point probably is the smallest lot you're going to get. There's other new builds in the 400s that you can get an acre. And again, an acre in the city does not exist.
Well, it doesn't even exist. I mean, for us, our new builds, and this is something I talked to other states about, is that our builders do not build on large lots like that. If they're going to build a new neighborhood, you're getting, 0.2 if you're lucky, and a decent enough yard to put a pool in. And so to be able to say, look, I get new construction on some space where I'm not touching my neighbor's wall is a great opportunity.
Yeah. So it's new construction, low 400s, half an acre. And like you said, you're certainly not touching your neighbor. There's what's that?
I said I want to look at the kitchen again.
Yeah, I mean the obviously this is not a city, and as you get further out, so like your money is going to go further, just metroplex wide, the further you go out. So this is still, within striking distance of downtown Fort Worth, 15, 20, 30 minutes tops. Wow. So if you live here in the city of Weatherford, but you could still work either in Weatherford, you can still work in Fort Worth, you can even technically still work in the northern or southern parts of Fort Worth and not have, a horrible commute, because you're not dealing with a ton of traffic that's coming, from the outskirts of the metroplex of Fort Worth.
That's awesome. So this one is Frisco, and 475, 5 bedrooms, 4.1 baths, almost 4,000 square feet. Let's just call it that. One more closet, and we'd be at 4,000. I've noticed something about Texas, and I don't even know. This is random, but my parents live in New Braunfels. Yeah. The brick, this is like the style of the front.
Yeah. So this is going to be your Texas, or your traditional Texas build. So if you take a look at the house, you're going to have your standard brick. When this was being built, the individual that built this house selected the color of brick, and then they also get to select stone. So you see the stone, that's going to be an upgrade when if you were the individual building this house, that stone is an actual upgrade. The reason why a majority of our homes are brick is because if Texas, we get heat, right? We get a lot of heat. We get, California gets sun a large portion of the year, but they don't get the heat that we get consistently. We could be sitting on, north of 95, 100 degrees for weeks in the summer. So the brick is basically used quite often down here to retain that cold, retain that temperature inside the house.
So that makes sense, because I'm always like, why? And I've never asked, and I was like, I'm just gonna ask today.
Yeah, like I'm originally from Washington, and even on the western side of the state, some houses don't have AC. And in the state, in the entire state of Texas, you're not going to find a home that doesn't have at least window units. Because there's no way you're going to make it. Without,
you would cook.
Yeah. So this is, flipping through, it's not going to be a home that's over the top. It's not going to be a home that's, super flashy. It's a rather large home. Frisco is probably one of the most desired cities, I would say, for a majority of the people relocating. It's got great schools. It's very central. It's in the North Dallas area, to give folks just an idea of location. Frisco also, 10, 15, 20 years ago was nothing of what it is today. So it's very much been built out. There's a ton of commercial development comparatively to the city of Weatherford. Weatherford's got, your needed necessities of commercial development, but over in North Dallas, where Frisco is, you've got a ton of commercial development, more than you probably need. But you tie that in with great schools, and it's every single day. Frisco's getting more expensive, but it's a very, very desirable area. I think it's at one point it was probably in the top 10 places to move to in the entire country.
And you have a YouTube channel, and do you have, I know we talked about this a little bit. What was I going to say? Sorry, comments were popping up and it got my ADD distracted. Your YouTube channel. So you have some videos on your channel that kind of explore the area. People can get an idea of what it's like to live there. Do you highlight each specific town, or what's that like over there on the channel?
So I've started to make YouTube, or I have a YouTube channel. I have a couple of videos talking about Dallas. I have one specifically talking about downtown Dallas. So this would be about 30 to 40 minutes. It's a suburb of Dallas. And then I have also a video right now talking about reasons to move to Dallas-Fort Worth, or Dallas specifically. As I, continue to make videos, I'll be making more specific cities, and go into more depth about the Metroplex. But those are the two videos I have so far on my YouTube channel about the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And your channel, can they search your name and find your channel pretty easily?
Yeah, so if you type in KMAC and then put real estate, they'll be able to find. So KMAC Real Estate, you should be able to find my channel.
Okay. And then when I'm done recording too, I'll make sure that it's in the description or the comments, so that if people are watching it later, they can find you.
Perfect.
And then this is, where are we? Fort Worth. So we're in Fort Worth now.
So this, so the city of Fort Worth, like if you pulled this address up on a map, it's the city of Fort Worth kind of has some weird. I
was gonna go to the map, see if I can find a map on this listing, but no.
What's the best way to put it? The city of Fort Worth has a very weird layout in terms of, where they consider a address Fort Worth. So this is actually technically like northwest Fort Worth. It's outside the city of it. Fort Worth ISD, it doesn't go into Fort Worth ISD. It goes into Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD, which is a great school district. The reason I have this is to give people a comparison from the North Fort Worth side and the North Dallas side. Your money is going to be able to go further on the Fort Worth side. You're still going to have tremendous and great school districts, but your money is going to go a bit further.
Ooh, this is so pretty.
Yeah, so that's those, Florida ceiling stonework fireplaces are a focal point in Texas, even though oftentimes, they're often for looks because we're not using a fireplace.
Well, I mean, there was a snowstorm. People maybe used them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. No, we had a handful of people that said they were using their fireplaces for the first time. So
it's good decoration. It's pretty. Who cares?
Yeah. The big difference here too, obviously the first one is a little bit smaller in new construction, but both of these are your typical subdivision home in North Dallas or North Fort Worth. And like you said, they're going to fit more of that, 0.2, acre of a lot. You'll have a backyard, but you're not going to have, half-acre lot.
They're going to have all that extra space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get through the bathrooms. So this, yeah. So I mean, you can. It's a good spot for the kids to hang out and barbecue and friends. But and you can't see in your neighbor's windows. I mean, it's not as we got some stuff around here that's real close.
Yeah.
That's so pretty. One thing I love about Texas when I go to Texas is the horizon. Like in this picture shows it, but like we have a lot of mountains to, the Sierra Nevadas. And so our sky doesn't go that far. And it's always super neat to see. I don't know why. It's just one of my very favorite things about Texas.
We're pretty flat out here. That's one of the I think things that people like, holy crap, like I didn't realize, we're flatland out here in the Dallas area.
This is pretty. So community center at this one, or at least there's good parks and stuff that they're building.
Yeah, I would say most subdivision communities in the suburbs are going to have minor HOAs with some kind of community involvement, whether it be a pool or a park or what it may be. Now there is we do have one in Prosper, which is even further north. If you just went to Google and you typed in Prosper Blue Lagoon, that's a community that has been on a ton of different news stations where it's a man-made, essentially a man-made beach in a community, and the HOA is still not going to be astronomical, in a community like that. That's where I've actually sold a handful of homes for people relocating. It's like a little on beach there.
I was going to see if we can get a picture up.
Yeah.
Let's see. How fun is that? And they just built that?
Yeah. So it's all man-made. And it's massive. So the community there is Windsong Ranch. There's thousands of homes in that community.
And how much does it cost to live there?
I would say townhomes are probably in the 3s to upper 3s. I know a majority of the builders right now are essentially sold out with a lot of the new build homes that they're building. It's a newer community. So like that picture is a good example, right? Like the lagoon's being built there. You can see in the distance that there are still homes, like there's vacant land, like plenty of vacant land. Those are all houses now. So this was back
in 2019.
Yeah, June of 2019. So I actually sold, if on the left-hand side there, somewhere in those vacant lots, I've sold a house back in December. That entire community, the Windsong Ranch community, is going to have its own middle school, elementary school, and high school.
That's awesome.
So all the kids will, go through school all together, which is nice.
Yeah, that's nice. We have our schools are great in that way that there's most of the new builds are always adding making sure that the school district expands with them. There's some places that the schools still need to be built and the kids have to drive a little too far. But it's all, a work in progress. Yeah. So before I let you go, I want to know your favorite, since you've lived other places, what's your favorite thing about living in Dallas and Fort Worth?
Yeah, so for me, I was looking at wanting to be somewhere to kind of settle down and call home. Dallas always stood out to me, as a city that I would love to live in, obviously never having visited and never lived there myself. I did visit a couple times before I moved my whole life and took a teaching job here back in 2017. But for me, the city had like a package deal for me, right? Like I love to travel. We do have two airports, one being an international airport. We're central here in Texas to where I was told essentially anywhere across the country, in the United States, if you wanted to fly somewhere, it would be around 4 hours max. If I wanted to go to Maine, back home in Washington's a little over 4 hours. Florida's even less than that. I can go anywhere in the metro or anywhere in the nation for, 4 5 hours max of travel flying. Now,
Yeah.
if I lived in Seattle and needed to go to Miami, it would be a much different story. So international airport was great. I wanted to be somewhere with affordable housing. I had lived in, sunny California, San Diego area, wanted somewhere a little bit more affordable, but still good weather. I'd lived in Seattle too, where it was the polar opposite, where it was always raining, not great weather, and not affordable.
All
So
the
great
ands.
weather. Yeah, great weather, affordability. I'm also a big sports guy. We have every single, professional sports team in our Metroplex, whether we're talking baseball, football, hockey, soccer. So if you're a sports fan, we've got you covered here. And then at the end of the day, the Fort Worth side is a different city than the Dallas side. If you live in downtown Dallas, and then you move to Weatherford, it's like moving to a completely different state, a completely different area. The fact that we have such a diverse, metroplex to where you can really have whatever kind of lifestyle you want, because people change, people grow up, people, want a different lifestyle than maybe they did 10 years ago. You don't have to move to a completely different state or move to a completely different city. We've got it essentially all here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, and taking time out of your day means a lot to me and the clients that I have that are thinking about leaving. And I love where I live, but reality is I know that a lot of people are looking elsewhere, and I want to be that resource for them. And I really thank you for being a resource for my clients that want to move to your area. So have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
And we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.